She made an announcement about leaving California and moved to Texas or something like that.
I'm so sick of this anti-California thing. Like, I don't live there, obviously, but you're the third largest economy in the world. Things are going fine. Oh, hey, listen, welcome, America. Hi, it's the Eric and Rodney Show with Robin, presented by, hold on, let me read the notes. The Eric and Rodney Show with Robin. Would you like to be on this show? Of course you do, because you're not a big dumb idiot, are you? Are you a big dumb idiot? Head over on to the ericandrodneyshow.com. Yeah, look, Stacy's not a big dumb idiot because she's here. Then you're going to be on this show. You're going to, holy shit, I should be on more shows. You know where you could accomplish that? The ericandrodneyshow.com. After you do that, you're going to go, oh my God, I'm so good. I should have my own show. You know where you can do that? The ericandrodneyshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome a very special guest. She is the founder and MVP brand strategist at True North Branding, Stacy Thal. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Stacy.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Great to see you, sort of, early in the morning here, Cali time, 7 a.m.
7 a.m. That's too early. That's too early to wake up.
I'm up, but I don't know how up I am.
I've only heard rumors at 7 a.m. I've never seen it myself because I drink.
It only comes once a day. 7 only comes once a day for Eric.
That's fucking right.
7. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So Stacy, I'm not sure if you know this, but we have a YouTube video with about 6,000 views. So we are huge. We are international. We're blowing up. It's ungoddamn believable. You might be one of the few people who haven't seen this show. I'm going to explain the concept and the format. The first half hour, we cover the news because America demands our opinions on such things. The second half hour, that's the Stacy portion of the evening. That's where we talk about you.
Fantastic.
Okay, good. Now, before we get to that, I'm sorry, what? I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do exactly what you said.
I'm going to. But before we get to the news, every day is a reason to celebrate. Every day is something, a national day. And today is very sweet. It's World Kindness Day. Oh, geez. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Stacy, do you like being kind to people?
Veterans Day.
Yeah, well, Veterans Day was Saturday. It's we got to move on. Stacy, you consider yourself kind?
I do. Yeah, I think it's corny, but I lead with kindness. I would hope. I mean, that's been beaten into me, but I would hope so.
I feel like I'm docile until provoked, like the loss of, the thing that spit the goo in Newman's eyes in Jurassic Park. Like, it's fine. I think I'm fine until you fuck with me, and then I get very upset. But yeah, I think I lead with kindness.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do, though, is see where we stand on the national level or the global level. So these are the friendliest countries in the world. If you'll notice, we're not on there. Robin, what's number 10?
Philippines.
Yeah, wow. Look at you.
Okay, I thought they would have been number 1.
No, that's French Polynesia. I don't know where that is, but I don't think there's a lot of French Polynesians. I think it's easy.
I've eaten there once.
How was it?
Where?
Isn't it Disney World?
Yeah. Do you have a Mai Tai? They're excellent Mai Tais. But look at
Where is Canada on this list? Why are they not here? Aren't Canadians known for being nice?
Yes. So this is the thing. There's no credibility to these lists. I looked up a lot of them, and they're all over the place. So then I looked up another one. This is where people are kindest to strangers. Iraq, Libya, Kuwait. Didn't Iraq and Kuwait, they famously fought in the 90s, right? But look at us, number 9. Friendly.
Can I ask a question about this list. Now, did you get this list here you were looking at now from MBS? You didn't get the list from him, did you?
No. It's very,
I got to be honest. I would say this list is not accurate.
You don't think?
What list is this? I don't even want to say.
Not sure, but this is on the internet. But I'm just
first. I thought it was a list of countries we have all had a problem with.
Right,
right.
But then
ourselves, I would say, including ourselves. Sure.
Right. That's right.
Seems like an apologetic list.
I know the media lies to us, but a lot of times Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, like we're not very friendly to them in the news, but evidently they're very kind to strangers.
Yeah. Well, true. As we know, polls aren't what they used to be. That's what she said.
Hey, I wouldn't know. Robin does though. So the other thing I want to do is see what was going on within the United States. And I think this is very accurate. You may have seen this meme before. I think that, yes. So I live in the Northeast. I do think we act mean, but we are nice. California is split between acts nice is nice and acts mean is mean. Do you find this to be properly representing your state?
I think that's like Hollywood adjacent bullshit there with acts mean is mean. I don't know about that.
Hollywood adjacent bullshit.
Yeah. I think that's just, it's some drafting off of jealousy people have about California and Southern California, that they relate California to Southern California. But I don't find that to be true.
Is it true that if it's on the internet, it's true? Because
That's true. The internet's never lied.
Yeah,
the internet, it's never lied, and it's not going to start now. Rodney, you're from the American South. Do you find that your people act nice but are mean?
Yes, that's true. They're very not direct.
Yeah, they beat around the bush.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. That means fuck you, right? Isn't that a fuck you?
That's right.
I think that's what that means.
I think up here, now that you've migrated north, we would just say fuck you, right? I think that's a better way to be.
Up here, it's known as good morning. Fuck you. That means good morning.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody be nice to somebody today. It's World Kindness Day. All right.
A lot of shares, by the way. They got a lot of shares.
14,000 shares. Not bad, right? Everybody can get behind kindness, I think. Well, not everybody, as you'll see in the news stories. Oh, boy. All right, Robin, you want to tee it up? Our old friends are back in the news.
They are. So we can't have another more political first news story. So over the past few weeks, our stories have had a lot of aggression between the U.S. and China. Even if it's not like direct aggression, there are definitely like small proxy wars happening all over the world. So as a result, both China and the U.S. have decided to send their respectively anointed senior citizens to have a little chat. So now it's not exactly clear what the agenda is, but it definitely has something to do with economics and the territories. So I know a lot of Americans are anti-China, but one of the biggest problems is I don't think Americans realize how much China exports to the West. That's why we can enjoy low prices.
That's an interesting take. So this is one of the things that occurred to me when I'm reading this story. Does the average American give a fuck about the average Chinese guy? Are we angry with them? Do we want to go to war? Conversely, is the average Chinese fella, is he angry at us? Do we want to go to war? I suspect what this is, stay with me, it's like NFTs, crypto, and the metaverse. We've reached peak capitalism, so now we have to create things to sell because we don't have anything real or tangible. So we have to get into speculative markets and like, oh no, it's the next big thing. It's not. This seems like we don't have any real conflicts, so we have to like dick around with China. We're not going to go to war with China. China's not going to go to war with us, but we constantly pretend like it's a thing, and I just don't understand. I think it's a dick measuring contest between our 80-year-old and their 70-year-old. And somebody's got to get these assholes out of office. You know, Obama's still in his 60s. Can we please give him a third term? Can we get someone?
Is he available?
Stacy, how do you feel about this?
I just feel like these guys are definitely going to be eating some soft foods together.
Right. It's just going to be a meeting where they have a bunch of yogurt, a little yo play, do some democracy.
Yeah, definitely get the probiotics happening.
Maybe some pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I was tripping on that. My dad is convinced, my 85-year-old dad is convinced that China is going to invade actual U.S. territory in the first quarter of 2024. So you heard it here first, if that actually happens. But it seems like a lot of posturing. And to me, you know, watching the news and also being a voracious consumer of nature shows, like all the Attenborough stuff, I just feel like this is not just late stage capitalism that's dogging us, but late stage monkeyhood. You know, like it just seems like a bunch of monkeys still. And there's not a lot of territory anymore, right? With overpopulation and stuff that people tend to not talk about today. So I don't know. It just feels like monkeys, man. Late stage monkey.
Well, this is the thing too, is we've covered stories about overpopulation. We've covered stories about underpopulation. So which is it? Pick a goddamn side. If you're going to fearmonger, at least fearmonger in one direction, you know? Yeah. This is the thing too.
We don't know what to be scared of.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure what to be afraid of. Which one is it? I don't know. But this is what I would like. I've said this on the show before. At some point, I think China's dicking around and we just need to drop the gloves and go, let's go outside. So this is my thing. I think we should make Taiwan the 51st state. Doesn't this look nice? Shouldn't we just say, hey, this is a state. Look at this cuisine. Yummy, yummy, yum, yums.
Do they have oil?
No, but look at this. Hear me out. I know they might need some freedom, but they don't have oil, but they have delightful rice dishes. Look at this. The
first step in getting freedom is you have to have oil.
Yeah, okay, but they don't have any. What about the second step is you have great fried rangoon?
Cooking oil? Maybe.
Oil.
I've seen a couple of stories where people were stealing cooking oil. They were stealing cooking oil for thousands of dollars. I had no idea there was such value in old oil. Who knew?
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many countries can we invade over oil? Eventually, don't we have to invade over a nice noodle dish?
Mm. I don't know. I feel like when you have oil, it's you don't know what to do with it. We need to help you.
Yeah. Well. All right, somebody got to go find some oil in Taiwan. This is another thing in the article that bothered me, though. They go, facing a cascading conflict in the Middle East and a grinding war in Ukraine, Biden is eager to prevent another world crisis from exploding on his watch. His watch? Like, okay, hear me out. So do we want to be the world police? Because if we do, then our young American men and women are going to die. Are you prepared for that? No. Then shut the fuck up about things happening on people's watches. We don't have an appetite for war anymore, so stop with this shit. You really want to get involved in Ukraine and Russia and China and Taiwan? Do we? I don't want to die. I like living. I like drinking.
I mean, can you imagine today with kids that don't even want to like go out of the house that we're going to impose a draft? How could we even compete? I understand technology war is won by technology today for the most part, but still, if we needed people to do things somewhere across the world, I don't think we have them.
We don't, and that's my point about the average Chinese person hating the average American hating Chinese. Okay, World War II. Of course, we got bombed on our territory. Everybody was fired up. Let's go kill somebody. So you're going to tell an 18-year-old that we're going to go fight China. And go, why? Well, they're giving African nations debts that they can't pay back. So then they take their naval ports. And you go, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? There's no like real. It's NFTs, crypto. It's not a real conflict. It's a pretend conflict that might happen down the road. It's not going to happen. Here's the other thing too. Real quick. China has 16 million people that are impoverished. I know you can't trust their numbers. I'm sure it's much more than that. We have 37 million people that are impoverished. Our infrastructure is falling apart. Our education's going downhill. 22 veterans kill themselves a day. Who gives a fuck about China? Can't we just don't you get your own house set before you go starting wars with an Asian country on the other side of the planet?
That's the only thing that I agreed with Trump on is that we should shut our borders down, but not for his reasons, for the reasons of let's clean house first. Let's get well, let's treat our own. And so that we can, spread kindness beyond kindness a day.
Can't we all be nice to each other?
Yeah. And feed ourselves and give, make sure that we have health care for ourselves. Let's figure it out instead of dictating what happens around the world. Like, who are we to talk, right?
Yes. We should all be kind to each other. Invite everyone over for a nice Taiwanese meal of the 51st state. That looks good. All right, what else is in the news?
Oh, so this is actually new territory for our show. We've not covered ice hockey that much at all.
And now we're going back to back.
It's a very high-level sport, and you get to enjoy the occasional fist fight. So it's getting a lot of attention recently because of what they're calling a freak accident. Hockey players are known to be very stubborn, and they refuse to wear neck protection. So nothing has changed until recently where it cost someone his life. So we have to kind of remember that these guys are kind of wearing knives attached to their feet. Now there's still a raging debate on whether the media wants to call it a freak accident, but a lot of people are saying that the other player was just using his skate as a weapon.
Oh boy. All right. So this is the guy that died. It's very sad. Under normal circumstances, I would never, ever, ever watch the video of anyone dying, but my stupid brother sent it in our Instagram things. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take a look. Oh my God. It was awful. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know about it.
Instagram should censor that, right? Or you got it.
I'm not going to listen. It's going to sound like I'm going to make light of this, but I really need to paint a picture for you. So this is Shawn Michaels. He is the greatest in-ring performer in wrestling history. His finishing maneuver is called a super kick, right? So you kick your opponent in the face like this. That's what happened to this guy. So if you watch the clip, he's skating around. The other guy kicks him from a standing position in the fucking neck with a knife welded onto his shoe. So it was a freak accident. I looked up hockey deaths. There's been one in the United States. This doesn't count. This was in England. But this is the thing that they don't want to wear around their neck. My thing is, I never played hockey, but it's cumbersome as fuck anyway, right? You're wearing 8,000 pads. What's one more?
I mean, you got on you got on 45 pounds of weights. I mean, just keep skating.
Right. Plus, it's a sport that's on ice. It's slippery as fuck. You got a giant stick. You're slapping a piece of vulcanized rubber at 100 miles an hour. You have a knife welded to your shoe. I think all the protection you can get would probably make sense.
It's like my football team, Eric. I said, I'm not wearing a helmet.
I'm
not doing it, coach.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't think hockey players had to wear helmets until like 20 years ago. It's a very masculine sport.
surprisingly, rugby doesn't wear helmets, but they have a lot less injuries than they do in American football.
Because those are real men.
Oh, yeah, it's real, man. Well, they have a lot of lacerations and broken bones, less concussions, because if you don't have a helmet, you don't lead with your head. That's just, common sense.
Yeah, I'm sort of torn about this. I watch zero hockey because I have an ex-boyfriend who is a fan, and I associate that with him. So hockey is cut off for life. But I do watch a lot of football with my husband, and I find it exciting, and I like football players, and I find the game interesting. And then it always strikes me it's sort of Christian and the Lions, right? That we're paying people now handsomely, gratefully, but not as much as the folks that are, putting these shows on. But it's pretty barbaric. I just went to the opening night of the Jets and Bills in New York, Aaron Rodgers' debut.
And, you saw him blow out his ACL?
Yeah, and career ender, perhaps. But it was the first time in a very long time that I had been to see an NFL game, and there were 83,500, mostly drunken men, chanting was really, the energy in there was really amazing. But they were chanting for guys to, at full speed smash into each other, right?
Yeah. Well, they're right. They're modern gladiators, but we've never lost the taste for violence in sport.
True. Yep. Yeah.
And
more monkeys. That's what I say. More monkeys, right? We do
yes, but is the alternative musicals in plays? Because I don't want any part of that. That's awful. We have to Here's the thing too, is like, this might be a bridge too far, but like when my father went to war, I was like, God damn, man, if you die in war, I'm going to be pissed. He goes, I'm in the army because I want to go to war. These people play sports because they want to hit other, like, it's hard for the average person to go, what I want to do is get hit in the head by a professional athlete, for a living. But they like that shit, So not only do they like it, but it's not the difference between gladiators, I think, is that they were gladiating against their will. These guys are signing up for it. So listen, if you want to hit each other,
I just have a question though, because I don't know much about hockey. Why were they kickboxing? Hockey ring.
That's a great. You know what? Thank you for bringing that up. England is looking into criminal charges for the guy that super kicked the guy in the neck because it is so good. Oh my god,
good. Yes.
Again, I don't want to get into too detail because it's fucking disgusting. But he gets kicked in the neck. He goes down. He gets up and looks, and it's gushing blood. And then he gets to his feet and goes to the side. And it's just, I'm sure they weren't prepared to suture his neck, and he ended up dying in the hospital. But yeah, I don't know. You should not kick people in the neck when you have a goddamn knife strapped to your shoe. Oh,
take a lesson from the Barefoot Bandits.
Exactly.
Well, I can't wait to talk about branding after this. That's amazing.
Right. Now, I did want to say one other thing because I shoehorn this into every time we get into this. One hockey player dies, and we mandate that people wear this, and that's fine. One kid dies of the one chip challenge, and we outlaw the one chip. Let me give you some statistics. Firearms, the leading cause of death in children in the United States. The leading cause of death for children between the ages of 1 and 17. And what gets done? The leading cause of all children every fucking year. We don't do a goddamn thing. One guy gets his neck cut off in a hockey game, and oh my God, we need rules and regulations, which I agree with. But what I'm saying? The juxtaposition is bizarre, is it not?
It really is. I mean, that's what our country has conflated freedom with firearms, Constitution style. And that's a horrible statistic.
And we've conflated it with the help of someone who benefits directly monetarily from that conflation, which is the NRA. Like
the NRA went down. It had all sorts of trouble at the top. It lost all sorts of money. Like, what happened? They have a resurgence now?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: if the number one cause of death with kids 1 to 17 was Muslims, then we do something about it, right? But since it's fucking guns, it's a non-issue.
The problem is the guns is that we don't know who to kill. Right, that's the problem. We always need somebody to kill, and when the killer is the guns, what do we do? Right, we can't kill the guns. We got to come up with something to kill the guns, and we can do it.
That would make sense. But in California, they were shooting. What were they shooting from helicopters? Was it deer?
Oh yeah.
Maybe we've killed all the deer. We're back to children. Shit. Well, we gotta kill something. Oh boy. Anyway, what else is in the news?
Okay, so the story is all about ice hockey.
Yeah.
So sports getting a lot of attention. Look at that. Unfortunately, it's not really good attention. So it just kind of proves Eric's stereotype that hockey players are a little bit crazy because they sign up to do this for free.
Yeah.
So this guy, Alex Galchenyuk, He's American Belarusian, and his hockey rage kind of went beyond the game. So it resulted in a aggressive counter with law enforcement. So he was arrested because of a private property hit and run, and then he threatened to make one call, and all of the cops and their ancestry would be turned into Bolognese spaghetti. That's verbatim.
Yeah, so I'm going to just read this because I think it's a piece of poetry. So he said people in Russia will make fucking bolognese out of one of the officers. He then said he could make one phone call to connection to Russia that would lead to the killings of the officers and their families. One fucking phone call and you never see your fucking family again. One phone call and you're dead. Your whole fucking bloodline is dead. All of your fucking kids, all your fucking wives, all your fucking daughter will fucking die. I'll make sure of that. Doesn't he sound like a nice guy? This Russian hockey player. I don't want to
like a sweetheart.
He does look like a sweetheart, doesn't he? He looks adorable. You just want to pinch his cheeks. But I think maybe there were signs because he's played for the Coyotes, Penguins, Wild, Senators, Maple Leafs, Avalanche, 2 AHL teams in 5 seasons. And you go, well, was he a shitty player? He was the 3rd pick in the draft. He's just crazy. Huh? Hockey players are fucking crazy.
Yeah,
made Team USA.
You know,
he really likes bolognese. I had to be honest. I didn't know bolognese was popular in Russia. That's shocking to me.
Well, bolognese is such a specific sauce.
Yeah.
Right? What are you picking out of all the sauces? Bolognese?
Yeah, maybe he likes Jeffrey Dahmer way more than we thought. Right?
It's not necessarily a funny story, but the bolognese part's hilarious.
That is funny. That's the lead. That's the lead.
I'm going to simmer you slowly for 6 to 8 hours while the sauce reduces into a thick consistency. Best used on like a rigatoni or fettuccine. You hear that? I mean, that's very specific.
Tell everybody.
Yeah, get the word out.
I'm putting everybody in this pot.
It's a chunky sauce. I can fit a lot of people. Don't threaten me. All right. Well, I don't know. There's nothing else on this other than bolognese. But this next one, oh boy, are we going to get canceled? Go ahead, Robin.
Hockey.
No, they're not.
It's not about hockey.
Oh my
Somehow
God.
it's not about hockey.
There's
Like
nothing
the NHL
cancelable
channel.
about this one, but it depends on your take with it, Eric. So I don't know how popular Miss Universe is in America, but I think beauty pageants in general are pretty popular. So this one's about the biggest pageant in the world, Miss Universe, and the owner, Miss Anne Jacopong, she's filing for bankruptcy. So something doesn't seem to add up here because you kind of have the platform that showcases literally the most beautiful women on the planet, and they can't seem to monetize it to the point that they have to go out of business. Help me understand this.
I took the opposite view, which is who the fuck watches Miss Universe? Like,
What?
Why?
I thought Donald Trump owned this, didn't he?
No, he owns he owns that's the other thing too. There's a million of these Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss USA. Yeah, it's very confusing. From what I understand, a trans woman owns Miss Universe now. She borrowed a bunch of money and now she can't pay it back. But so Robin, I was like, who the fuck watches this? So I looked into it. In 2021, on a Sunday night, Packers versus Bears, a nothing game, not a playoff. That drew 12 million people. An episode of America's Funniest Home Videos, which I wasn't even positive was on the air, drew 4 million. Miss Universe drew 2 million. So it gets half the viewing of an average episode of America's Funniest Home Videos.
America's Funniest Home Videos is still on?
I know. I thought Bob Saget, isn't Bob Saget dead? Who hosts it now?
He passed on.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
I'm shocked.
But isn't this sort of an antiquated misogynistic thing? Wow. It's like, yeah, how do you look in an evening gown? Okay, well, how do you look in a bikini? That's interesting. You have some.
Are they still doing videos, or is it like TikToks? I wonder what they're showing now. Sorry, like who's mailing in videos?
I know TikTok is America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
Stacy, you're a lady. How do you feel about Miss Universe? And
I feel the same. I feel like it's antiquated, but it being again back to sports. I was just, watching Sunday, and football, and they still got the cheerleaders out there showing their, kits and caboodles, and that feels antiquated too. Like we need to distract the men and go, whatever, do this thing during the fucking game. Yeah. So I don't know. There's these strongholds of people who want it how it used to be. And this just feels like anything where we're having pageantry around how women look in these idealized way by country around the world feels a little outmoded. That's, I guess, what I have to say is hi, Barbie. That's what I have to say about this.
Yeah, the thing too is I think like so in the 50s, I think this was probably a big deal. A whole bunch of the hottest women all around the world appearing on television. You were like, oh my God. Cheerleading, same way. It's like, hot chicks not wearing much. Sears catalog. But then the internet was invented and there's porn everywhere. So this we don't
like a too intimate a window into your childhood there, I think, Eric.
No, listen, I speak the truth.
Can I just add one thing to this story?
Yeah.
So America's Funniest Videos is still on. 34 years it's been on, and now Alfonso Ribeiro, the guy, who the Fresh Prince, his cousin brother Carlton.
Yeah.
He's the host.
Oh, I'm glad that he found work after the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air went off the air.
I thought he was a dancer.
Isn't that called Carlton?
Yeah, I thought he would have gone straight to a tour for dancing, but who knew?
Who knew?
No, I like that show. He's funny.
I think in an attempt to modernize and get some little ratings going, there have been so this is a trans lady. She won Miss Netherlands, so she's in the pageant, and now they have another trans lady in the pageant as well. There's a firm, the owner is trans, obviously, and she firmly stands behind trans women are women, and you can't say anything differently or you'll be canceled. So I just find it. Are they going to get in trouble if a woman doesn't win? A trans woman doesn't win, or they're going to be like, well, you're discriminating. And it never goes in reverse. Like female swimmers never compete against men. Female fighters never, you know what I'm saying? It only goes in this direction. And it's something.
Well, I'm noticing for me, the subliminal flash every time in between slides here where you're showing chicken McNuggets or something.
That's a jalapeno popper.
You should mash this up, this Miss Universe, trans or not trans, with hot ones. And just have all these chicks eating hot wings and see how it all comes out that way.
That's a reasonable competition. That levels. You know what I want to see?
How many wings can you eat?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see one of these chicks with snot going down her nose, sweating, crying because the chicken wings are hot. That's real competition.
Yeah. Then I'll give you a scholarship.
Yeah. I'm going to bring this to a darker place. The reason why I sort of rail against this is because this is Major League Baseball, right? Stay with me. But you know how you get to Major League Baseball? You have to start out in the minors, like this shit.
Yeah.
Remember Honey Boo Boo? Oh, isn't she adorable? What the fuck is this? And why do we do it? And why is it legal?
Yikes.
Yeah. This is sexualizing children to the, oh my God. This is like the Boy Scouts.
Can you take that down? It's creeping me out. Yikes.
What is this? Is this Honey Boo Boo or is it some?
I don't know who it is. It's creepy though.
So this is Honey Boo Boo. So there was a thing called Dance Moms, and like they were the breakout family. So she got her own fucking series. But what it did, I think, is I didn't know this existed. It spotlighted this kind of creepy ass shit that they do with little girls. But if you hate this, you have to hate this because that's where it all starts.
I don't like any of it. Can I be honest? No. I'd rather watch America's Funniest Home Videos with Carlton. I don't either.
But I'm just saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. So like with the Boy Scouts taking kids camping in the woods away from their parents, and they go, oh, they were molesting them. Really? Stop it. Same thing with churches. Like you're telling me there's no nefarious bullshit going on here? Of course there is. Stop. Oh, it should be illegal. Aggressively illegal. Don't we think? Am I the only one on this side?
Sexualizing toddlers is probably not a good idea for a society with rampant pedophilia.
Yes, right. Stop sexualizing toddlers. I have a 3-year-old. Under zero circumstances would this ever happen because I'm a reasonable human. All right, one more quick story before we get to Stacy. It's about Veterans Day. Robin wanted to bring this up, and the video it's great. So this is what happened. The guy on the left that's blurred out was going to kill himself. He was a veteran. The cop on the right was a veteran as well, both in the Marine Corps. What he's doing here is pointing out the names of people that he knew that have killed themselves. And it helped get the guy back on the other side. It's very sad. Back to my point about Biden and China. 22 veterans kill themselves a day. That's a fucking abomination. Somebody should do something about it. There are organizations. Home Base is the one that I only do one nice thing in my life, and it's support Home Base by running once a year. So it's not a lot, but it's something. So for all the veterans out there is help. 22 a day is an abomination. Anyway, Stacy, let's talk about you.
Very smooth transition.
Amazing segue.
Thank you. Sorry, that was Robin's fault. I felt compelled to talk about it, compelled to do the story. So,
well,
Stacy,
definitely, I think the United States of America has a branding issue for sure, given all the issues that you just brought up here.
it's an aggressive
sure.
branding issue. Yes. And what would you do to fix it? Oh, not yet. Let's not get there yet. You are a branding expert. You've worked at Google, Yahoo, Walmart. I've heard of maybe a couple of those little mom and pop organizations around the world. Startups. Yeah. I hope they do well. So help me understand. So you wanted to be a director. You worked with Francis Ford Coppola. Is this right?
I did.
Your father was a Hollywood
Wow.
photographer. You started in a world of glitz and glam.
Yes, and then I ended up just lining the pockets of capitalists to help them appeal to their audiences to buy their widgets for sure. But that was the main thing. My dad was a photographer in the Hollywood film industry. He traveled all over the world and took all sorts of pictures of fantastic people. It was way back in the day, so it's like the heyday of film, where it was like Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate and Midnight Cowboy and things like that. But he was also a Playboy photographer.
Oh my God, I didn't see you didn't mention that in any of the podcasts.
Yeah, imagine I was saving it for on air, but imagine the therapy bills from that. But was it therapy bills for being too happy? Like what me therapy.
Right.
You took Playboy pictures, but yes. So he did proper centerfolds and all that stuff, but he also did photojournalistic stuff, and he got an assignment to go follow this commune with a friend of his. We were in LA, from Marin County to Oregon, and he went up there to scout it and saw all the naked chicks just running wild in the woods there. He's like, we got to drop out, sold our home, bought a VW van, threw my mom my little bike and our 3 dogs in the back of that, and started this other adventure. But film was always in my blood. But I went to Berkeley. I was smart enough and stupid enough to go there. And they didn't have a film department, but I fell in love with film early on. It was in my blood, and that was the intent. But it was back when it was very, there was like no movies and HBO. There weren't a lot of content outlets like there are today. And it was not the most hospitable place for a woman to make a career in directing. But I tried, I got as far as Francis Coppola. And then I had to make San Francisco Rent. So I had discovered through that experience that people don't know how to write. And it was something that I've had a facility with. So I just pivoted into marketing and advertising.
I do like that people don't know how to write thing, but I agree. I agree with that. How was Francis as a person? Who's all right?
He was fantastic. I mean, he was very much like my dad. I was very much like his daughter in a way, Sophia. And so we had a whole, played out a whole Oedipal thing there. But he's a fantastic creative person, and, just an eccentric, rough dude as well. Like a lot of these guys, it takes big ego to make, your visions come true with other people's hundreds of millions of dollars. So, but he was great.
I didn't love The Godfather. And I know that's a bold statement. Everybody loves it. Yeah.
Oh, blasphemous.
Have you ever seen that Family Guy clip? I don't want to, where Peter's, they're all, the whole family's about to die. And he goes, I have a confession. I didn't care for The Godfather. And then they all freak the fuck out. I feel that same way. He goes, it insists upon itself. And I don't know what that means, but I think that's right. I think it does insist upon itself.
I like the second one. That was one of the best movies.
Everyone likes Godfather.
Yeah, Godfather 2.
Everybody likes the second one. Nobody likes the third one.
Third one's terrible.
Third one they could have passed on.
Sophia directed that movie that I like with Bill Murray in Japan. What the fuck is that called?
Lost in Translation.
Yes, Lost in. Yeah, that was her. That was her, right? That was great.
Another crazy movie that she did that I thought was absolutely incredible was The Virgin Suicides with Claire Danes. I don't even understand the point of the movie, but I was just like, this is incredible. It was just so thought provoking, and it was just genius.
Yeah, well, she's great.
Yeah, agree.
She's coming on the show on Wednesday, so that's exciting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be huge. A movie out called Priscilla, right? That's about Priscilla.
Yeah, it just came out.
Speaking of pedophilia, so I'd be interested to watch that for sure.
Can I just say one thing about Elvis? I'm going to be an Elvis defender here. Priscilla did an interview with Barbara Walters, who said, while Elvis did court her when she was underage, he did not touch her until she was. Now, that could be Stockholm Syndrome, where she's lying and whatever, but anecdotally. Anyway, so nobody knows how to write. I think that's true. I think nobody knows how to write, especially marketers, because everything's trash. You feel that same way?
I do. And now it's really interesting. I have a few clients, and I come from copywriting, but I worked my way up through creative direction and brand direction in the world that you mentioned, and then with dozens of startups over the years. And I have 2 clients right now that have already gotten rid of copywriters in preference for ChatGPT. So now it's even going to get worse. My experience with ChatGPT is it's a great thought partner and a great first pass. But if it was a copywriter, I'd have fired it a long time ago. Just like no real nuance there. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to get any better.
Well, I mean, Grok's still coming out. We should give it a chance.
What?
Grok, Elon Musk's
Oh,
sarcastic.
Grok. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I just think writing is so bad anyway. Just let the computers do it. Like, when was the last time you saw a great piece of marketing copywriting? I can't tell you the first time I saw it.
What was the last thing I wrote?
Except with the exception of Rodney, obviously. But for the rest of us,
I'm joking.
And these days, who are the jerks that are sitting around watching commercials? I mean, I think we're forced in some streaming circumstances to watch them now. And my LinkedIn profile is like a magnet for spam. So, those messages are getting through. But I don't know. I think all of that stuff is.
Don't you love it when someone sends you a 45-page email, right, on LinkedIn, and it's like, book an hour-long call. I don't even know what you do.
Do you?
It'll be like EPAS and all these acronyms, and I'm like, is this code? What are they talking about? What are they saying?
It's the robots.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
When you market for places like Yahoo, Walmart, and Google, can you do anything? Because they're already like, can you come up with the greatest idea in the world, run it by somebody, and they go, "Oh yeah, that's good." No, like, can you move the needle in any way? They're fucking behemoths that don't do anything interesting.
You got to go into Walmart and be like, "I got an idea, guy. Lower prices."
Well, yeah, I think it depends. So when I was at Google, for instance, I was working through an agency that embedded at Google, and what our remit is they were getting more into the hardware game, right? So they've been the trader of, personal information, data on their advertisers, whatever, the users for search. But they wanted to get AI into the hands and the homes of people everywhere. So they hadn't, the old, whatever it was, Nexus phones, and they got into the Pixel phone and then Google Home and then bought Nest. And that's the kind of cusp where I was there, where they were trying to get all that. So yes, right? So yes, that's a whole new business line that they were in that I was trying to promote there by being in the forefront of their Google store, which is like Apple Store, but for Google hardware products. Yeah. So yeah,
marketing for Google's new venture, just like, hey, we got some new shit, come buy it. Like, it's not like Google has to work. Yeah, it's not like they have to be particularly clever or run like a liquid death campaign. I always
felt like with Google, right? And I like Google, but I always felt like Google was so dependent upon not having any help. Like with Apple, they'll help you do anything. With Google, because I have like Google cameras and I had a Ring and this and that. And it was like, talk to the robots or talk to a third party. And it's like, guys, figure it out. You can't sell this stuff. And like with the phones too, right? Like Apple, you go into the store, you go into with Google, every other week there's a new phone, right? Every Samsung's coming out with people always like, my Samsung phone's so advanced. No one buys it, right? No one's buying it. Like, why do you keep coming out with phones? And it's like, I mean, I think it's silly. iPhone comes out with a phone every year, but literally with Google, it's like every 15 minutes, they're like a new Pixel 9, Pixel 28, right? Like,
trying to keep up with Apple, but I don't think that's true. I think if you look at the stats, because of the price point, Android phones still sell Apple phones, if I'm not mistaken, in the United States.
I'm sure they do, but no, they probably do. But I guess my question is that, like, I just think like reason like LG. Remember how LG used to make phones all the time? And they're like, we don't know why it didn't work. Because quit making so many phones. You make one phone, make it incredible. And then next year you come out with another phone.
Can't do it. People want new shit, man. People want new stuff every year.
That's what Apple does.
Of getting, something new, something shiny.
Not how average. Do you think advertising how average something is a good marketing play?
That would break through because not anybody's doing that now, right?
Exactly. So this guy Daniel Ellison calls himself the average dude, and it infuriates everyone because like, you're not average, and then he gets complimented. I know his fucking tricks. I know that's what he's doing. All right, so you're big on you're big on brand authenticity, right? That's a thing that you
that's a thing.
That's a thing that you're into. Yeah. My question is, this is one of those things I've never understood because I don't think I give a fuck about any brand. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Like this, for example.
Though, Eric, that's your baseline is not giving a fuck, right?
But I think the kind of people that care about brands need a girlfriend. Like what shallow existence do you lead where you're like, oh, I love Under Armour? I'm like, have you ever read a book? You know, there's charitable organizations you can spend some time in. Like, just give me good shit at a reasonable
price.
Or
is it preference sort of brand? Like for example, I would much rather deal with American Express than any other credit card company. Right?
Because why?
They have amazing service.
Oh, you're the service guy. You're like my mom on there. Like, I can't get a hold of anybody on the phone.
I expect if I pay you every month, when I call, I don't want to hear any stories, or I'm going to come up with stories when the bill comes. Right. And I don't hear any stories with them. I think Land Rover has terrible service, by the way. And Mercedes-Benz has amazing service. Eric, you can attest to that. Cartier has incredible service. But yeah, there's only like maybe 10 brands I think have decent service. Target has good service. Yeah. Walmart, horrendous.
Okay, so that I think begs a question. The thing that got me thinking about this last night is I order my groceries online, and the place that I do it shows you the number of items you ordered. So last night I ordered 70 things from the grocery store. Gun to my kid's head, I couldn't tell you anything about any of those brands, what their story is, what they believe in, how authentic they are, where the fucking juice comes from. I don't know. I just want to eat shit and move on with my life. And that's the thing that confuses me about brands. I have a wife. I have a kid. I have kids. I have drinking problems. I've got things going on. The last thing I want to do is give a shit about your brand. Just give me this shit. Like this microphone. It's $300. Somebody said it was good. I was like, all right. I go, sure. Where are you from? What happened? Are you ethical? Are you sustainable? Who gives a fuck? Does it work? Is it good? Okay, let's move on. Isn't that how most
plug it in?
Yeah, plug it in.
I mean, it's interesting. I think that we all are jaded now, including generations that have come up, like whatever Gen Z and whatever's a Gen A Alpha that's after that. Young millennials are so jaded because we grew up on all this, and now a generation growing up on social media where they see advertising coming from a mile away, right? And so what the polls say, if you can trust them, is that the younger you are, the more you care, that the distinction is about what have you done for me lately, right? So if it's going to be everything, if I have to get a jacket, whatever, if I'm going camping and I got to get, whatever, something to be warm, I'm going to REI because they contribute to the universe and whatever, and global warming, cures and whatever.
I think that makes sense logically.
There.
But my issue with this has always been, we know that Nike uses sweatshop labor and underpays their people. We know that Apple has suicide nets at their iPhone factories. We know that Amazon doesn't allow people to piss when they're delivering our shit. We still use them. So like this idea that a certain population gives a shit, like, that shoe company that gives a pair of shoes away for everything that they
Tom's, right?
If we really cared, Tom's would sell more than Adidas, Nike, Puma, but they don't, because we don't really give a shit. So this is what I think the better approach is Liquid Death, who've just decided to be hilarious. Who just decided to be hilarious. Dollar Shave Club, Poopery, all these things that are going, we recognize you don't give a fuck. So if I make you giggle, you might buy my shit. And I think that's probably the better way to do it.
Dollar Shave Club, by the way, has really good service. Sorry.
Yes. People, they're coming from an authentic place of not giving a shit, which is the kind of people that I love to work with.
Yeah, I think not giving a shit.
You're going to love us.
Can you tell? From being on the show for 43 minutes?
Yeah, so if you're going to, there has to be some sort of there, and it doesn't have to be that you're saving the world or, healing global warming or whatever it is. But sense of humor is cutting through for sure. We know that something, a stodgy brand like Wendy's, can break through with owning snark on social media, right?
Oh, Wendy's is goddamn hilarious.
Snark. What's his face? Not Ryan Gosling. What's the other Ryan
Reynolds?
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. He's making a killing because he's out there being in his snarky self, and I think that's cutting through. Because people can sense when something is coming from somewhere authentic, even if it's just like, fuck you, we don't care.
Yeah. I think the problem there is that it's illogical, but I think if logic solved problems, no brands would fail, right? Because we're swimming in logic. Because we go, you know what people like? They like the environment. They like sustainability. No, they fucking don't. It's illogical.
But they like cheap. They like comfort,
Yeah, you know what's great about Amazon? Zero friction. They don't tell me their story.
Right.
I don't fucking care. I log on. It's easy to order, and I get it the next day. They deserve to be the greatest company in the history.
You know, their website hasn't changed. I was reading one day. Their UI hasn't changed since '98.
Why would you change it?
I don't know about on the app, but on the main site, it hasn't changed since '98.
Right. I just think we have all these examples of like flying in the face of, your story. I don't give a fuck about your story. Can I get this thing for $35 tomorrow? Then I'm in. You know what I mean? I don't fucking care. Here's the thing too, though. Humor is difficult, right? Especially, so you said it. Nobody can write, period. Now you're asking them to be funny? Oh my God. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the other part of it, though, is that most companies don't have the balls.
No
balls to
no ovaries. No ovaries.
Or ovaries.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have it to take a chance, right? Or to be themselves. So there is this homogeny out there, and it's just a price war, or who can get out to market fastest. And that's part of, the intervention that I do with 90% of businesses failing within the first 5 years, is try to intervene where a lot of the businesses that I work with, startups and business owners, they have my cousin's girlfriend is a graphic designer. She can do a logo. We have a brand, and it sort of there's no there, either to build the business and have clarity for your customers, or build your culture with some sort of foundational something that you're coming from somewhere. Then it's just lining my pockets and screaming into the universe of, see me. Part of the distinction can come from some kind of established personality.
Yeah. You know what, too, is I equate a lot to the lending crisis, the mortgage crisis. So people would go like, oh, the banks were evil because they were handing out these dumb loans. Yes, but the borrowers were dumb, too. So it's like, you knew you couldn't pay that mortgage, but you took it anyway. They know you couldn't pay it, but they gave it to you anyway. You're both at fault. That's how I feel marketing, because I want to blame the agencies and go, you're not creative. You have no good ideas. You're fucking boring and you suck. That's true, but clients don't want to be creative either. So what ends up happening is they want mediocre work. You give them mediocre work to get paid, and then no one's doing anything good.
Let's call it safe, I think. Yeah, safe.
Yeah, safe.
Yeah.
I have a question. What are some brands that you think have nailed it?
Well, I think, that you were talking about Liquid Death has really broken through.
Yeah.
I think that, everything that Ryan Reynolds touches turns to gold for sure.
I think he's a better businessman than actor.
Could be.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like he did Mint, he did Aviator Jan, like that Mint commercial where he brings the guy on there, some kind of like scientist or whatever, and he's like, tell us what 5G is, and the guy goes in and he's like, okay, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that commercial is genius. Yeah.
What's that, Robin?
Yeah, Mint Mobile. He sold it or owns it. I don't know. He's got something going on. The guy's a billionaire now.
I haven't heard much of it since that commercial, but it's still around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what angle I like too is like Prime, the Logan brothers. They got fucking wildly famous, and now every kid, even my son who doesn't know who the fuck they are, is obsessed with Prime because it didn't matter. Same thing with Mr. Beast. He put out chocolate, as I'm guessing has nothing to do with his core brand. But once you're super famous, you can sell whatever the fuck you want. I like that angle too that nobody really tries to do.
Right. So we saw that with Mr. Trump, right? Steaks.
Universities.
Right.
Universities. Have you ever met anyone that had a PhD from Trump University?
My gynecologist has graduated. He works out of a windowless van in my parking lot.
Yeah.
It's me.
And it says free snacks.
Free snacks. Other than that, no, I've never. So Stacy, you said something controversial in the green room before. You said, tell me if I'm misquoting you, that niches are for bitches. Is this true?
Yeah. I was just thinking we were talking.
She was pounding her fist.
Part of the joy that I have in being a consultant and working with different startup companies and businesses is that I get exposed to a lot of people, a lot of smart people from different spaces, and everything that I learn can be translated into help for my next client. But there is this sort of movement to niche down, right? The niches and the rich. And what I said to you is I think niches are for bitches. Think about it more expansively, right? So it doesn't have to be an industry. I'd love to be in the skincare industry because I'm fruity for that stuff. But I think that if I know brands, if I can write, if I can get in and tease out what's important to you, my skills are translatable, and you benefit if I have this expansive interest and expansive business in other places. Every client benefits from that, So
it's
I
almost
think
like a CEO, right? Like you ever see I used to say that when I was younger because I didn't understand. They'd be like, well, the CEO of Pepsi, I'm making this up, is going to run Ford, right? Or whatever it was. I'm like, what does he know about drinks? Or what does he or she know about drinks? They're like, we just don't know anything about drinks, right? They know, they know how to run a business.
Yeah.
And with my mom was the same way. My mom was a very successful business owner. And like when she would run like committees or things for the school, they always were very successful. And I remember thinking like, what does that have to do with the shops? But it's you're right, it's transferable and it's invaluable.
Yeah. And I think that to think of niches more expansively, right? So my niche is being able to help founders, connect the dots between what their vision is and what people really want. Because there's oftentimes this phenomenon, especially with the rush to market, of being too close to their whatever baby, their work baby, whatever it is that they're too close to it, so they can't see. So I can swoop in there with some objectivity and a lot of experience in a lot of different spaces and help them tease out what their real vision is, but connect the dots with what their customers or end users or whatever it is really want, right? Because they get so focused on this is what we have, this is what we need to sell, but does anybody want it? Let's find out, right? Yeah. Let's find out who those people are. It may be a very small audience, but it could be a very small and loyal audience.
Yeah. And I think you could trick people into wanting anything. Like Liquid Death is not good. Like I've had it, I bought it, and it was like there's a million different seltzers that are better, but nobody markets better than they do.
Right.
So even if your shit is not even the Pet Rock is the classic tropey example of this. Nobody fucking needed it, but it became a thing because of great marketing, great advertising was so stupid. But nobody takes that approach anymore.
Mine's still alive. Can you believe it? It's the only animal I've been able. Yeah, he was just walking around in here. I don't know where he's going to run off now, but yeah, that was genius.
Oh, genius. Beyond genius. You've talked on other podcasts about the influencer thing, and then like there's a movement you're saying now, de-influencers. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, de-influencers. I think there's just like everything is the pendulum swings both ways, right? So influencers, people are sick of hearing about it. Like you said, everybody's jaded. Everybody's used to it. That was this stealthy way to get, people who had followings, celebrities in particular, but sort of A-list, B-list, C-list celebs, people that had a following, to shell your whatever it is, your thing, right? To say, AG Green or whatever I am, whatever they're pumping. And now people are onto that and they can see how insincere it is, and the paydays that influencers have are pissing people off. So there is this movement of people who are influencers who are making influencer money now are debunking influencers, right? But shilling products at the same time.
The attribution for influencers must be pretty easy, right? Because all these people have coupon codes and so if it either works or it doesn't. But I've asked people, because I had a client who was like, maybe we should go after influencers. And I asked her, I was like, have you ever bought anything from an influencer? She goes, maybe skincare. Yeah. Like who talks? I love Tom Brady to death. Under no circumstance am I buying his stupid supplements. I just don't fucking care.
But there's enough people. That's the thing. That's the beauty of it, right?
But you're near the facility.
I am near the facility. I'll steal them.
I would go to the facility for sure.
Yeah. Get more pliable, get some avocado ice cream. Yeah, I just don't.
Well, the Jets might need me.
How's your ACL? Is it okay?
It's pretty good.
Your Achilles.
It's my arm I'm worried about. It's my throwing arm.
You still got it.
I have to work on.
Back to sports. Do you want to talk about hockey some more?
Yes. My favorite hockey influencer. That sucks. It's terrible. It's a sport dominated by Canadians and Eastern Europeans. That's not a sport. That's I don't know what it is. Plus, only one person has died. Not a sport. Robin, you're of the age where you could be influenced by influencers, right? Isn't that your generation? Do you go on TikTok to get some advertising?
Yeah. I'd say it's a lot more prevalent with my generation. Well, I mean, Logan Paul, I think, is one of the greatest examples. Like Prime. The reason why Prime has sold over, they just hit the 1 billion mark is just because Logan Paul and KSI are the greatest influencers of my generation.
Wait, who's KSI?
His friend?
He's like the Logan Paul of the UK.
Okay.
So
is he like Andrew Tate?
Well, I don't know. I cannot confirm.
The influencer from Romania.
The influencers still work. I mean, look at the Kardashians, the machine of the Kardashians. One of them, Courtney, I think, has now a supplement company, not unlike our friend Tom Brady, called Lemmy, and she's making a ton of money. Kim Kardashian, did you see this thing where she just created for Skims, this brand that she sells? She created a bra that has perpetual nipples so that you're always cold, even when you're hot. Right. And so everybody's buying this shit because they want to be the Kardashians, right? They can get a little piece of the Kardashians. Luxury brands have been doing this forever. So the street level stuff, right? You can't buy their couture. You can't go and buy a jacket, but you could buy a wallet and have some of that cachet, right? It's just capitalism, man.
Yeah. The only thing I've ever seen that Kim Kardashian has done has been the thing with Ray J. Did you ever see that? It's a great tape. It's you just go to Pornhub.
It was they did a duet, right?
It was a duet. I think she won a daytime Emmy. It was tremendous.
Yeah.
I got about 40 seconds in. The other thing, so Fame, I think you could sell whatever. My favorite thing about the Fame thing is the George Foreman grill was supposed to be the Hulk Hogan grill, but they couldn't come to terms or whatever. But the guy who made that grill just knew that he had to slap a fucking goofy celebrity's name on it and it would sell a billion things. I think that approach is fine. But some middling nobody on TikTok telling me to buy some detox tea, how could that be a thing that works?
I have a feeling you're not on TikTok. Is that
I'm
true?
not on TikTok. I'm 42 and I have a restraining order. I can't be within 100 feet of most 16.
Why don't you go on a TikTok diet for your social media for 30 days and see what you end up buying at the end?
I tried TikTok. I don't like it at all. I think it's terrible. I don't get the appeal. Just dumb people saying dumb stuff, which as I know with the show I've created, I know I'm understanding of the irony here.
Right. Well, and also your algorithm. So that must mean that's what you're interested in, right? So that's saying probably the content that you see says more about you than it does about TikTok, right?
Since is that why I got so many ladyboys? It was like the ladyboy hour. I guess that's why it was, it was just all ladyboys.
What's up?
Do you want to talk about your business?
Me? Not at all. I'm done with it. I quit.
But I did a screenshot. I put all the effort into doing a screenshot.
Well, yes. Yeah. I mean, these days I'm trying to help founders, startup founders, CMOs, and business owners beat the odds, right? The odds are really tough. Like we were talking about, it's very difficult to break through. And I think one of the points is don't, right? Everybody's trying to be everything to everyone. And what I try to do is help them find whatever their niches for the bitches is in order to appeal to an audience that will actually do the best thing possible for them, which is word of mouth. Sorry. And I love that work. I love that work is being able to bridge that gap between what founders are interested in selling and what people are actually interested in buying. Sorry.
You made mention of the approval process being difficult. I think that's what's jaded me to the marketing thing, because I think here's the thing. Most companies don't try wild shit and then go, wild shit's not for us. They exclude the idea in totality. And then what you end up doing. So even if you have a marginally interesting idea, by the time it gets through the approval process and legal, it's just vanilla and boring like everything else. And then people are shocked as to why it didn't stand out. Yeah. Because they're doing the same shit.
Well, it's fear-based, right? I have a couple clients now that shall remain nameless who are trying to play in the middle and looking constantly at what their competition is doing so that they can figure out what they're doing rather than trying to differentiate and look for what's really moving the needle for them with their clients or customers. They're always, because of market pressures, right? So it's really, do you ever listen to the podcast, what's it called, How I Built This?
I do listen to How I Built This. Big fan.
So the story is like failure. And then some sort of breakthrough. But a lot of those brands, had these really unique ideas with ambitious folks that then collapse in on themselves as they begin to hire people and have the pressure of giving people paychecks, and if they get a taste of the money and want more. But I think a lot of it is about that more, and not being, specific about an audience. There are plenty of people out there. It may be needles in a haystack, but there are plenty of needles out there. And you just got to find them. But to try to, please everyone is a huge contribution to the failure rate that we see in businesses and startups.
Yeah. You know what's a classic example of that is Dollar Shave Club, because their first 2 commercials were fucking hilarious. They were edgy, interesting, unique, got shared billions of times. Unilever bought them for $1 billion in cash and just recently sold them for pennies on the dollar. What happened when I was still a customer. Once they went to Unilever, they de-edged everything. They tried to appeal to the middle, and then nobody gave a shit anymore.
Right.
The stuff they used to do, the stuff they would put in the packages, hilarious. Couldn't wait to read it. As soon as they were sold, it was like a watered down version.
You know, they don't do the newsletters anymore.
Yeah, well, right, because
no, they stopped them. I don't know why, but they stopped them. They used to send out newsletters. So you're right, were hysterical, and then they don't. I don't know.
Right, because they were like, wasn't it great when it appealed to a small, loyal bat? What if we appeal to everyone? And then they think they know how to appeal to everyone by being dumb and not funny. But like, it's terrible.
A big dumb idiot.
Big dumb idiots.
Like the nexus of fear or greed and fear, and that's why I like you guys, is that you're more fearless. And I'm interested in working with brands with balls.
Yeah, we don't give a shit. We don't wear neck protection when we play hockey. I don't give a fuck. All 3 of us are entering the Miss Universe pageant next year. I think we're going to take it.
Exactly. I'm in.
I'm identifying as the winner. That's what I tell them when I do the pickleball tournament. They go, "What do you identify as? The winner? Give me my trophy."
I love that.
All right, we're going to get kicked off all our streaming platforms in a second. So do you want to tell people where to go if they want some interesting shit?
Action. Well, you can hit me up at my name there, stacythal.com or stacythal.com/MVP for minimum viable product or most valuable player. And
we didn't get to that part. Sorry. Well, we had a lot to discuss.
Next time.
Next time.
That's right.
All right, so if you want an MVP, you know where to go. We should log off. Stacy, do me a favor. Don't leave yet. Stick around for the green room for a couple minutes while we debrief. Okay. But for the rest of you, we will be back tomorrow. It's going to be lovely. You're going to love it. Goodbye, America. Hold on. Let me hit the button.